A very warm welcome to you once again to another episode of Talk, Share and Inspire. We want to drive this conversation and think about something. So as we begin, I want you to tell me, I want you to write in the comment section wherever you're catching this episode from, what comes into your mind when you hear mental health? What are some of the myths and misconceptions that you think about or you have heard of? For instance, I heard that mental health is not real. It's just imagined. And then you can just snap out of it. My name is Erica Okeyo. I'm going to be a host for this show. And I'm joined by two very wonderful guests who are masters, should I say masters of mental health. They have studied, they have practiced, and they're going to give us insights. They will tell us, is mental health important? Is it something that we can just snap out, and how do we go about it? So allow me to introduce my guests for this show. Karibuni sana.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
You look like your mental health is in the right place.
You
look
better.
Stable.
You look better.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I appreciate.
Yes.
So please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us what you do.
Okay. Sons and daughters of the Most High, I want to greet you all in the name of Jesus Christ. My name is Councillor Migok Misao. I'm a Christian counselor and also a mental health advocate.
Oh.
I'm happy to be here so that we can go to enjoy together in this discourse.
Awesome. Yes. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Mrembo.
Eish. Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Yvonne Alfreda. I am a music teacher and a health and wellness consultant, and it is perfect timing to talk about this particular topic.
Awesome. You'll tell us why it's such a perfect time to, talk about mental health. So, Migok, I'll start with you.
Okay.
What is mental health?
All right. Mental health is all about your emotions, social being, and also your psychological being. So it can be bad or it can be good. Okay. So if it is good, then it means that your mental health is at a good place. Okay. If you're experiencing difficulties...
Hold that thought. Because we want now the next thing after that, we'll go into the science. What does actually good and bad mental health look like?
Yes.
So you said it involves our emotions.
Yes.
What else?
It involves the emotions, your psychological facet, and also the social well-being, how you relate with other people when you have your emotions, and how you're thinking, and generally how you act.
Okay. So your happiness, how sad you feel, how you act around others. Awesome. Yeah. How about you, Yvonne? Do you have a different definition?
I would say mental health is just the well-being of your mind.
Mental health, well-being of your mind.
Yes. If your mind is happy, your mental health is okay.
Okay.
If it is sad, it could be okay because you're reacting to something. As you said, tunafika hapo kabla twende huko kwingine. Yes, but mental health is about that. And we talk about types of mental health where we have the psychological mental health. We also have mood disorders. We have anxiety disorders and things like that. With the types of mental health, with the mood disorders, we might have depression. We might have... bipolar tendencies. With the psychotic disorders, we have schizophrenia and things like that. So these are other levels of mental health that people don't know about.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
but even the simple things like stress.
So you're already talking about
angry.
Common signs and symptoms of mental health.
Yes.
So if I'm stressed, my mental health is not stable or good.
It is not okay.
Okay.
It can be stable and good because stress is a reaction to something. So you can be reacting to a lot of work, pressure at work. It is stressful. It is normal. It is normal. If you have a lot of work and you don't get stressed, then also your mental health is not okay. You cannot just be happy. Something is off. Okay. So at times stress is a reaction to just something that is going on in your life. However, prolonged stress now makes the bad side of the mental health situation.
All right. Yes. Okay. Then I'm also very interested to know, I want to go the gender way for a minute and maybe ask you, Migok, does mental health look the same for men? Then you will tell us for women.
For women. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, I'd say that for men it's very interesting. Growing up, I remember we were told that you will be told, wewe ni mwanaume, jikaze. Or,
So you're a man, you should
Men
man
don't
up.
cry.
Yes.
Men don't cry.
Men don't cry.
And so you will probably suppress that emotion. But you see, mental health is about how you think, how you feel, and then how you act. And we have been wired or oriented in the society not to say how you feel, even to cry, even in a burial. Sometimes men, you'll find that they don't want to cry because they look like they're weak.
And they're sad. They're actually
sad.
grieving someone that they love.
But ideally speaking, it's important for you to respond congruently to your emotions. So if you feel sad, show the sadness. If you feel angry, show it.
Show the
If you feel happy, show it. It's okay, because feelings and thoughts combined actually bring out the moral character.
Awesome. You know, I'm getting the fact that now when it comes to men, there's a like negative connotation on mental health. You've said mental health is about expressing your emotions, but men are not allowed to express their emotions. It looks like being weak. Okay. Yvonne, how does mental health look like for women? The people you've worked with.
Women.
What are some of the things you have encountered?
Women are very interesting. We have the two types of women, those who actually overreact, and then we also have the power women. I will not show. I'm a powerful person. I will not show my emotions. If I have to show my emotions, I'll show my bedroom, my pillow, but I will never show anyone my emotions, because people will judge me differently.
So you're talking about a woman who probably work somewhere.
Yes.
They have a boss, they are frustrated. Maybe the boss even abused you. You know, they said something that was not so nice, that hurt your feelings, but you will not cry.
Strong.
You're
Strong.
like, I will cry at home.
I'll cry at home.
So there are those
I'll
times.
never
Even in the
show.
toilet.
Or even like in the toilet, because you're sure someone might actually walk in and see you. So they decide to hold it in.
You bottle up.
And you bottle it up. And it goes day by day. You keep on bottling it up. However, the interesting part is, as girls, we are allowed to cry.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's
And
okay
see, for
to
the
cry.
men, it's the opposite.
It is different.
It's a sign of
Because
weakness when you.
ladies wakikutana, they're together. They come together. You find that they will start talking, and they will unleash. I will unleash. We will unleash. We start crying. It's like, oh, okay, it's okay. You can cry on me. It's okay. Men,
I can be a shoulder to lean on.
Yes.
And you know, it's important to note that crying actually really helps somebody to relieve the pain they have.
Okay.
And so crying is actually part of a therapeutic scenario. So when you feel very bad and you cry, it's something good. When you share, for example, it's also something that is good.
Yes.
You're letting it out.
Okay.
Men, we are wired not to talk, not to share.
And those are the things we are going to demystify at the end of this, because I'm sure you've interacted with so many clients or patients with different mental health issues. Now let's go to the common signs and symptoms. What is it that if I see in myself, I should be like, you know what, I should start taking care of my mental health. Maybe we can start with you.
Okay. I think I'd say maybe when you're irritable, you can be extremely irritable.
What does extreme irritability look like?
Maybe you're dramatic. As just a small thing, you want to shout, who has taken my pen? And you know, it's not a big issue, but to you, you've made it to become a very, very, very big issue. Sometimes you can have body aches, and you don't know the cause, maybe stomach pains. But when you go to the doctor, you don't find anything wrong. Yeah, sometimes you have insomnia, you can't sleep properly, or you're sleeping too much. You know?
Okay, so either it's both extremes.
Yeah.
So too much is 10, like I want to spend the whole day in bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
sleeping
problem.
properly.
Yeah.
I'm really tired. I'm not sleeping properly, so it means I'm really tired, but I maybe hustle to fall asleep or even to stay asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even sometimes you don't even, when you wake up, you know, the first thing we should do is to draw the curtains so that you can go to have fresh air in and stuff like that. So you find somebody who is not doing that.
Yes.
Or even simple chores like spreading your bed, ensuring that the room is clean, fresh, and doing simple tasks in the house, you're unable to do them, then there could be something.
Okay. So if there are activities or things that I used to enjoy at some point, and now I do not find pleasure in them, I should start.
Yes, even that's
checking
also
if
other
withdrawn.
things.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
When you're withdrawn, you start disconnecting from people. Like, I'm a sanguine by nature, so I'll talk to people normally. Now when people don't see me talking,
There's something.
normally there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Also eating.
Yeah.
People eat too much or don't eat at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you find those people who are
Excessively
like
eating.
ice cream, chocolates, and they indulge. They start indulging in junk, not necessarily healthy food, but junk and things like that. And also people who are into talent. I talk about talent because musicians, actually right now as we speak, musicians are struggling so much with mental health because they are not earning from what they used to earn properly and things like that. So they start withdrawing. They are no longer active. Their creativity comes out. Like even you can't be able to host this particular program properly. Why? Because you're not okay mentally. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm just really thinking maybe we can also like just get a little bit personal. You guys, both of you are mental health advocates.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it started somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Personally, I'd say the point I started caring about my mental health and like, really thinking about it, I was working at a job that I'd describe as toxic. Later on, I knew it was toxic because I had a boss who was like always shouting and always like being problematic. But I also learned later on that she was bipolar. Well, that is a mental health condition that I learned of later. So the work used to be very stressful. I don't struggle with work. I love working. I believe we derive a lot of happiness from working. So I used to work, but in the evening, I never wanted to see my phone. I just wanted to go home. And then it was very consistent for like 2 weeks. That's when someone told me, maybe you're stressed, maybe you're depressed. That time I didn't even know what depression was like. So I'd like to know for you guys, what was your turning point? At what point, especially for you as a man,
Yes.
a lot of men are not very vocal about mental health. So
Yeah. Okay. Just to remind you also, this is June. We are celebrating also men's mental health.
Yes.
So we are really encouraging men to come out and talk
tell me.
and share, and even inspire somebody, because you might have come out of the woods and somebody else is in that space.
Yes.
So when you share, you're actually creating a higher chance of somebody else to be encouraged and to come out. Now, answering your question, I'd say that I remember a while back when I was growing up, I got a chance to, not a chance, but I just was cheeky, getting to drink and taste alcohol. And this started in the house. Yeah, so sometimes my parents will, maybe after the chama, they've escorted the visitors and they'll leave a little bit.
then it becomes a visitor.
So I actually take it to the kitchen, but in the process of me taking the utensils to the kitchen, I actually taste. And when I taste, I feel so nice. And I feel like, yes, I'm doing this thing. And you see, because they didn't know, I was doing it without their knowledge. So even the urge became more and more sweeter, and the desire still grew. I remember a time when those days we used to have wall units, yeah. So there was some wine that was just placed there, and I decided, let me go and test it. I tested it and I feel so nice. Again, I added and I added and I added. Then I came and put water so that it can go back to the level of where it was.
You, after this, I hope you repented.
I repented, actually confessed, and I even told my mom and my parents that this is what I used to do, but I'm asking for forgiveness. So we reconciled that. Anyway, fast forward, I desired the taste of alcohol, and this went to high school. It even affected my grades. Then going to campus, now it became even worse, because now you are an adult, you're independent. Sometimes you do exams. They are very difficult, so the coping mechanism will be to drink. And sometimes now you'll drink to excess. I remember even there's a time I even got into violence and started fighting with people, becoming reckless. I remember sometime I took my dad's car, and I hope he's not going to see this video, because that one I didn't confess.
Maybe this is your moment.
And I ran away from, I took the vehicle and I was drinking and driving, which again was risky. So those are some of the bad behaviors that I acquired along the way. And of course, being introduced to other things like sexual lust, like pornography and so on. So as we are growing, peer pressure comes in, other habits come in, like that. Then I finish campus, I start working. Now I have money. I'm single. and there's alcohol.
You know, they actually say when you want to see someone's true character, give them money and freedom.
Yes.
So I also had freedom because I'm living in my place. Because immediately after campus, I just got a job like this and I wanted to move out. The reason I wanted to move out is so that I can have my own freedom.
To
Not
do
be
your
ask
thing.
me what I'm coming. So I started drinking. I remember there's a time I came back to my house the following day at 10 a.m. and I'm supposed to be at work.
What?
At that point, I realized this.
You should have done 2 hours of work already by that time.
Yes. Then I had to go back to work. So one day, after doing that for a long time, I went to work, and coincidentally it was a meeting. We had a meeting with my client, and then my client told me, "Bigok, you're huffing. What's wrong with you? How can you come to a meeting when you're huffing?" Then at that point, I started realizing there's something wrong with me. I started praying and asking God for help. I didn't know where to get the help because I was a church goer, but I was not really committed to going to church. Of course, when I'm doing this, there are also other things you get into, other addictions, debt, because now you have to drink, and then your salary comes like this. By the second day, the third day, it's over.
You don't have
because
fare.
you don't have fare. Actually,
Yes,
that was me, and it was so bad. I started one day. I just calculated the cash that I've ever used for alcohol.
On alcohol, yes.
It came to 2 million.
Yes.
What?
I said,
Yes.
what? All this, and I'm in my 20s. And then I was asking myself, have I even really invested? Nothing. At that point, I realized that there's something wrong.
Oh,
But I
and
thank
that's
God.
when you made change.
Yes. So I made a change. It took me about 4 years to actually come out of it because I kept on trying to come out. Nothing. Friends wanakwambia kuja, pewa, lazima una pesa. No, don't worry. We'll actually buy for you. So
mean,
you
it's
see
not
that is
the money.
already,
Money is the problem to do
So
this for
peer
you.
pressure also was too much for me. I had a weak personality. I would not say no, and I was not firm by actually standing on grounds. So also those are just forms of habits that were growing without me knowing. But I thank God that when I got to 30, my brother introduced me to the gospel and to Jesus, and I realized that the things that I've been doing are actually wrong. So I got convicted.
Okay.
And I told God, I pleaded with him, I want to come out of this thing.
Yeah.
So the day I got baptized, it took me a month for me to be baptized. I was still grappling with this idea of, what if I become a Christian and I still want to drink? Will it be possible? Then I tell myself, that's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. Why do you have to go that route? Then at the same time, I'm asking myself, but I can just try. So one day I said, okay, God, please help me. I went to the gravy waters, I got baptized, and do you know what? God removed that thirst of alcohol from my...
Awesome. Wow. I love that. Was that your beginning point to, actually, because I know you're also very passionate about people who struggle with addiction.
Yes.
Is that where the passion started
Yes,
from?
actually it began around that same time because now when I was coming out, I started putting away my friends, cutting them off, deleting them on the... So by the time I was getting baptized, I'd relapsed like 2, 3, 4 times in that year, if I can remember very well. But the day I got baptized, I remember that urge of alcohol went.
Wow.
And so God started working on me slowly by slowly, giving me new friends, introducing me to different activities like hiking and stuff like that. And that really helped me in hastening the process of healing. It's been 7 years right now.
And I want you to hold that thought. We'll go back to it when we want to help someone who's struggling with their mental health, like what activities, maybe even alcoholism, what activities can they jump into to help them? And maybe Yvonne, just, I don't know, what was your turning point? I see time is also rushing.
It is so interesting what he's talking about, but for me, it was as a Christian kid brought up in church, elders child, mother church, choir, all these kind of things. And then you get to university and you're not staying with family. And there was this time I was in university, I suffered abuse.
Okay.
And what is the effect of abuse?
Mental health.
Mental health. And it came with drinking.
Drinking,
I would try to drink as much as possible to numb
It's a coping mechanism.
pain. Yes.
Yeah.
Coping.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, you remember, you drink.
Yeah.
So you stop going to class, you stop going to school, you stop doing all
Church.
this, everything. No, church I would go. It was a requirement at Baraton.
Oh, yeah.
I would go. I would go. But you see, what happened was, and you may find that people don't understand this, changing of schools is also a coping mechanism. Baraton was not my first university. I went to another university where the abuse took place. And so I changed, trying to cope, trying to see if changing the environment would help. But unfortunately, it didn't help as much as
Because
I
you still
thought
have the
it
same
could.
mind.
Yes.
That one has not
It
left.
has not changed. And you see, I went there and I found people who also had those joints, places to go, house parties and things like that.
Yeah.
But I remember my changing point, I will summarize it because again, time is not on our side. My changing point was, I remember we had a house party and I was out for an entire week. I think I was in a coma or something like that. I don't know. But I was being told I was in and out. So people knew I was alive. They could not take me to hospital really because they didn't have documents and things like
Yeah.
that. But they were trying to do some first aid or something like that. It was
Can
about 4
imagine.
days.
Yeah.
So I didn't go to school.
Yeah.
People don't know where I am and I'm out.
Wow.
I'd taken a lot of whiskey. And that shook me to the core. And it was about the same time I was about to finish college.
Yeah.
So I finished college. My results were not as good as they were supposed to be. Being a top at school in high school and then come to university, you're not performing well because of the effects of what happened to you.
Yeah.
So everything wasn't as good as they were.
They should be,
So I
yeah.
leave, and when I left, my mother found this program. It's not an Adventist program, but it is a Christian program, and they were talking about renewing self. She paid for it. I went for the whole, this is where now counseling and talking comes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the process, the procedure I took to be able to heal. Healing from what happened to me, from the abuse, but apart from that, healing and also understanding that alcohol will never change anything.
I want you guys to talk to somebody who is struggling with mental health.
Yeah.
You know, they have heard your stories.
Yeah.
First of all, I like the fact that we see that whatever they have gone through, I'm sure there are people who can relate. Someone who's struggling with alcoholism, someone who's been abused before, someone who has been in a toxic work environment and has affected their mental health. Those are normal things. And now I just want you to encourage someone who's struggling with their mental health. Where do they start from?
Okay. All right. What I can just say is it's not easy.
Yes,
I can
yes.
only imagine how you're feeling when you're going through that difficult moment or wanting to come out of that situation or struggle. I can only imagine how you're feeling. I will just say that take a positive step towards it. Look at the positive side.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are not kind to ourselves. So you can be kind to yourself and just look at the things that you can do on that bare minimum and see whether you can appreciate them. For example, if you feel like you can't get out of the house, thank God that you're alive.
Yes.
Because there are people who are not.
So find something positive.
Something positive to actually appreciate. And slowly by slowly, you will get there. Step by step.
Yeah.
Get somebody, share.
Yes, because I also wanted you to chat to talk about supportive systems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Having people who understand the journey.
Yeah.
Like, is that helpful?
Yes.
Very helpful, very helpful. Because, growing up, I remember I can't remember something like counseling and psychology and all those things. I can't remember them. These things, I've come to see them right now when I'm older. But what I can also tell the viewers is that don't be afraid. Talk and share. You can look for somebody who you're comfortable with to talk to. Maybe you're not comfortable to talk to your siblings or your parents. Get somebody in church. Look for a counselor, or maybe look for somebody who is a mentor to you,
Yes.
so that you can be able to share with them.
So talk about it.
Yes.
You encourage people to talk about it. Don't die alone. The moment you notice there's a problem, speak about
Yeah,
it.
actually what helps is when you speak, you get a chance to reflect.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody can ask you questions, they can probe you, and that process, you're able to actually appreciate what you are feeling and how you reacted during that incident that
Yes,
happened.
yeah. So you're assuring someone who's going through mental health that it's not a sign of
But
weakness.
there's some people who don't notice they are going through it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Tell
and
us about
There are
that.
some people who will not notice they are going through it. So their friends might notice. Now this one goes to family and friends.
So
when you
being in a
notice,
community.
yes, being in a community of people who notice things, you'll find that if I notice Migok is not doing well,
Yeah.
I need to say, hey Migok, are you okay? Reach out.
Yeah, reach out.
And when someone is reaching out to someone who is struggling from mental health, please do not brush them off.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of suicide going on because of people going through what mental health issues.
So when
if you know you're
when I
going
keep
through
telling
it,
you I'm stressed, I'm stressed,
Yes.
I'm stressed, don't ignore that.
don't ignore it.
Yes, okay.
Let them talk, even if you're not having something to tell them. Just listen, give them a listening ear. And then if you see it on another level, advise them to talk to a professional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be in a community of people. Go to the nature. Find an activity, a hobby to do mountain climbing. People are climbing all mountains all the time right now.
Myself included.
Yes, yourself included. And also, you can also find any other hobby. Swimming, exercise. Exercise brings out the feel-good hormones.
Okay.
Exercise is also very good for someone who's struggling. Go out there, jog, swim, sing. Find something to do.
Yeah.
Pick up a hobby, something that you're not used to. Pick it up. Go knitting. Ladies, these days we are trying to knit. Yes, we are trying. The word is trying.
Crocheting.
Crocheting, yes. Get something that will keep you occupied.
Yeah.
And also, don't stay alone.
Yeah. I do a lot of hiking, and that really helps me. It's like a
Yes.
high.
Outdoor.
You get
Okay.
to interact with nature.
Yes.
You rejuvenate.
Yes.
By the time you're done, just in case, for example, maybe you're struggling with addictions of masturbation and pornography, do you know after you've hiked,
Yes.
that energy, you can't even think about things like
Umechoka, unaenda
Utakuwa umechoka.
kulala.
Yeah. You just get showers
Awesome.
and sleep. And most likely, if you're struggling with insomnia, most likely you'll actually sleep like a baby.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Because the body is now ready to take a rest.
Yes, awesome.
Also, resting is important.
Yes.
Many people don't rest. We are just working, no work-life balance.
Yes.
So it's important for us to schedule ourselves in a way that we give priority.
The good thing is we had another session on work-life balance,
Yes.
and it was very well elaborated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, because of time. Yes. So I'll give you guys exactly 2 seconds to give your parting shot. To start with you, Yvonne, then we'll close the show.
Mental health is real. We suffer from it every single day. It might be in a small dose or a big dose. Find help. Don't die alone. Get someone to talk to. Get help.
Thank you, Yvonne. Yes, we go.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7. Cast your cares upon Jesus Christ. He is a great counselor, a wonderful counselor. When you pray to him, he will show you the right person to talk to.
Amen. Thank you so much, guys. This was very insightful. I think the best part about this is we went personal. We talked about our personal stories. And so we see that these things are real. Real people are actually going through mental health. So I hope you've picked a number of insights. You've picked signs and symptoms, things to look out for. God bless you, and see you once again in another episode of Talk, Share, and
Inspire.
Bye-bye.
Bye.